All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio. So we got the one and only Born Allah right here live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, my man. How are you, folks?
Oh man, I'm doing best I can possibly be down here in Canada, man. I have to ask, how's everything out there in California, man? It must be great just soaking up that sun and sitting under them palm trees.
Absolutely. As we speak, I am sitting on my porch. I am twisting up flour, and I'm ready to get this popping there. I got a good vodka tonic going, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Most definitely, man. But I'm going to kick things off at the beginning of your amazing career this far, man. And I have to ask, what originally made you decide to actually pursue a career in music, man? Because you were such a phenomenal hip-hop artist with such a lengthy career.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I actually, everything came to me, man, kind of snowballed, man. Like, I just started off, man, getting my little hip-hop on, man, because, I was born in New York and raised in Los Angeles, so I used to go back home all the time for the summers and stuff, man. So that's when we used to get all the mixtapes. Now, during this time, hip-hop was very regional, so stuff that was released on the East Coast, a lot of times people in the West Coast wasn't privy to it, or if they did become privy to it, it was really like 6 months, damn near a year down the line. So what I used to do is, man, I used to bring home many other people's rhymes and shit from the mixtapes out in Cali, man, and that's when I was like 12 years old. And that's how I started, man. I used to say crash crew raps and shit, man. And that's how I started it. Then I started parlaying into writing my own stuff. And then when I was in high school, I just got plugged up with a deal, man. An old girlfriend of mine, man, that I used to see. Her uncle was Michael T. Williamson. And you guys, if you were familiar with the Movement X project, the guy that was in the beginning of the video, that guy is the guy who played Forrest Gump. I mean, played not Forrest Gump, but played Bubba Gump in Forrest Gump. The guy that was on the shrimp and stuff in the movie and stuff. So he was actually our manager at the time. So he was the one that actually got us the opportunity to get the deal and took us over to some people over in Colombia at the time. And that's how I ended up getting my deal. And from there, I've just been rocking and rolling ever since.
I gotta say, that is definitely a phenomenal first manager to have, man. Having Bubba from Forrest Gump, man, that's actually phenomenal.
Yeah, it was crazy. A lot of people don't really actually recognize him until I pointed out in the video, man. But he was actually a decent actor and stuff, man. He played in a lot of things. He was in 50 Cent. What's that? This 50 Cent's movie, Get High, Drive It, or something, whatever. It should Get Paid or something. And then he was also in a couple other popular movies. He was in Heat. He was also in T.I.'s movie, the Atlanta ATL. So he was a pretty popular actor and stuff there. So I got a crazy history, man. I've been hip-hopping so long, man. I just have to links with so many people. Another thing that a lot of people don't know is that one of my first rap groups prior to Movement X was actually the Alcoholics. I was in a group with Tash and E. Swift. We was in a group called EOP, like in 87, 88, which was just prior to getting the Movement X deal.
And also, as well, I actually read that at the age of 14 years old, you actually wrote a song for New Kids on the Block titled Are You Down? From what you can actually recall, how did that opportunity arise for you? And of course, becoming a songwriter for New Kids on the Block at such a young age.
Yeah, it actually worked out. It was an old friend in the family who was A&R at Columbia at the time, Eric Neary. He had came to me, when my family moved out here from New York, it was like a caravan. Like eventually everybody started moving out here. My aunt, different family members and stuff. So his wife was part of the family. He kind of moved over to California eventually, and he was always into music. So he came to me saying that he had just wanted a song similar to with New Edition used to do, where it would be like they would sing and rap and stuff like that. And it was crazy because I never actually met New Kids on the Block. He asked me to write the song. I was like, okay, no problem. I did it. He took me to his house. I recorded it on a 4-track recorder with his son, and he sent it off. And a few months later, he came back to the record with my name on it. And it really just went 1, 2, 3 like that. Luckily, my family members protected me to make sure that I got all my credit and everything, got the song registered and stuff, man. So, and it's a funny story about it because initially I never got no money for actually doing the song. I actually didn't get paid for the song until the Movement X days, when my lawyers for Movement X realized that I had that the song credit, and I had mentioned it to them just in passing. And they actually were the ones that went and pursued it and, you know, got me my first check for actually writing the song. Initially, they was just giving me Fresh Fest tickets and stuff like that. I would take all the homies from the hood and go see, go to Fresh Fest and stuff like that, man. So a lot of my opportunities, man, just happened to happen. It was like, you know, almost like I wasn't pursuing it. I was always, my thing was I was always pursuing the music, and opportunities came to me.
The one thing I have to ask as well, because obviously, you know, you did this at 14 years old. Did that song ever actually generate any gold or platinum plaques at all? Because I got to say, having one of those plaques at such a young age, man, would definitely set the stone for anyone's career at the very beginning.
Yeah, it definitely went platinum. My particular song was never a single off of it, but I am definitely on a more than platinum selling project on that project. And the New Kids on the Block's first album really wasn't their big hit. It was really the album after that. And then once that blew up, everybody went back and got the first album. But their claim to fame was actually the second album that I didn't do anything on.
And also, as well, as you mentioned a few moments ago, that you were actually a part of the chorus Movement X, that you actually formed alongside DJ King Born. I was wondering, what is the story behind this duo, and of course, what actually made yourself and King Born and originally come together and just form this iconic duo?
Man, I love that you even call it iconic, man. It's bugged out of me when you told me, when you reached out to me, because it seemed like you was familiar to me from Movement X, so that seems such a lifetime ago, man, speaking about it. Me and King Born actually went to high school together, and the person who actually introduced me to King Born was my man Tay, who is actually the brother of Tisha Campbell from Martin. He was actually the one that introduced me to King, because Tay was actually my beatbox. So it's so funny, when I came back from New York, because keep in mind I was born in L.A., I was born in New York, raised in L.A., and during a period of time when my mama couldn't do nothing with me, she moved me back to live with my father in New York. So that's when I got the knowledge of myself, and I, you know, changed my name and everything. So when I came back to California, I was battling cats and having a battle with this dude who actually, because prior to me becoming Lord Mustafa, before I became Born Allah, I was Lord Mustafa, and prior to me being Lord Mustafa, my name, and as corny as it was MC Cool. So when I came back to California, it was another MC Cool from a rival high school that wanted to battle me. So it was during this battle that I actually met King Born, because Tay was beatboxing for me, and he told me how King was a dope DJ, and King was doing beats on like a little Mr. Rhythm, Dr. Rhythm drum machine and stuff like that. And we used to go out to his garage, man, and play loops and break beats, and I would rhyme over them, and the relationship grew from there. And King ended up being, even in that rap book, even in that book, the book of hip hop greatest list, King is listed in there as having one of the best DJ solos on the record. Because King, still to this day, I still think King was, you know, at least top 5, top 10 scratching battle DJs ever. Like, nobody messed with King. The scratching on Movement X album is still competing to this day to what people is doing. Nobody cut like King did. So it was just a dope relationship, man, to have that type of producer as well as DJ on my side.
And the one thing I've always wondered, just being a fan of Movement X, why was there only one studio album by you guys? Like, were you guys ever working on a second project, or you guys kind of just do one and kind of be like, all right, let's do our own thing?
No, what happened was that, you know, we're young and learning the game. You got to think that Movement X album, you got that deal in the latter part of '89. So we were kids. So we were actually signed to Columbia through a production deal. So after the first album, one of the first things that, you know, raised our eyebrow was that King did all of the music on the Movement X album except for 2 songs. And that was, 3 songs. King produced everything except for Freedom Got a Shotgun, I Deal with Mathematics, and United Snakes of America. But the album is actually credited to a person named Randall Scott, who was actually the owner of the production company. So So, when that happened and we saw that, and they was like, oh, no, he's just a producer. Producer don't mean he do the beats. He just puts it together and stuff. And we was like, what the hell? So once we realized what was going on, we wanted out of our production deal. So what happened was is that we ended up buying him out of our deal to be directly signed to Columbia. But what happened was that he took a good portion of our budget for the second album. So there was a power change during this time. They was actually considering, dropping us before the second album, and we ended up, our product manager, Karen Mason, who just recently passed away, she was, her claim to fame was she was at East West. She was the one who got Cypress Hill on the cover of High Times, which was the first equation of weed and, hip-hop. She also was very responsible for a lot of the Guys Effect stuff and early Guys Effect, as well as a lot of the Rough House stuff, which was a sub-label of Columbia at the time that had Cypress Hill, Fuji, Crisscross, and stuff like that. She actually set up a meeting for us to meet with the head of music, and he listened to us, heard what we wanted to do, and gave us a shot at doing the second album. Now, since we were young kids, they wasn't comfortable about us producing the album on our own in California. So they forced us to come to California, which just raised more of the budget because you got a house that's per diem and everything like that. And once the album was done, at the time, Low End Theory had just came out. So we had just finished mixing the album and mastering it, and King wanted to go back and do the album with Bob Powers, which was the person who did the mixing and mastering for the Low End Theory. So we went back, redid it. Keep in mind, there is a second Movement X album. King has the files, it just never came out. But after we went back and we did the project, mixed it and everything, the album was so over budget, we ended up getting released from our deal. So it never came out. But there is a second Movement X album that was, to me, I think that would have really took us over the top because it was totally us. We had total control, and it was, super just different, especially even compared to the first project we did. We even had a posse cut on there with MF Grimm. Me, MF Grimm, my man One, who's associated with Coogee Rap. I think Bridget was on that posse cut as well. So it had definitely had some joints on it, man. I wish it would ever came out, and I wish King would come up out of those files so that we could release it on our own. So if anybody is listening, somebody hit up King and tell him there to put that Movement X out, second Movement X album out.
I gotta say, I definitely agree, actually, toss that out. This day and age, it's so easy to actually release projects like that with streaming services and whatnot. Even though they do obviously pay, like, crap money, it's still very easy to just put something out and release it worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely, man. King is sitting on so much stuff, because after me, King Born went on to produce all of the E-Rule stuff, which ended up being classics, Listen Up, and things of that nature and stuff. So King always, was a heck of a worker and stuff like that. Besides the second Movement X album, he probably has like 2 E-Rule albums that he never put out either.
And before we move off the topic of Movement X, the one thing I've always wanted to know was you guys had a single, United Snakes of America, that was actually on your debut album. I was wondering, what is the story behind these conscious lyrics, and of course, song together?
Well, at the time, in hip-hop, man, it was like, hip-hop was super ultra-conscious, and I was very, very much influenced by Public Enemy, KRS-One, just building knowledge itself. I became a 5% when I was 16, man. So all these concepts, man, that I was just learning so much at the time. My father was well read, put me onto a lot of books. I was a big historian and big history buff, especially when it came to my people. So it was just me trying to articulate and hone in all of the information that I was getting at these young years. So that's why it came out the way it did. I mean, like I said, I was a big fan of, Malcolm X, and I was a big at the party and just black consciousness overall. So, and especially when I, looked at us historically, how we was treated, and because you got to think this is the late 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. I mean, when you consider what my people have gone, things of that nature, that's, less than 100 years ago, kind of, you know what I'm saying? So, to me, all that stuff was very, very fresh in far as my memory, because I'm just becoming privy to the information. So between me trying to articulate historically what my people were going through and how I was feeling about it, I was also getting into the knowledge of myself and becoming a young 5%er. So that's all you heard, man. You get the knowledge of yourself, man. You burn from the inside out, man. And I was just on fire at the time. And I just wanted, to articulate what I knew and drop it on people. To me, that was just the thing to do. Like I said, I was heavily influenced by Public Enemy, KRS-One, and, most conscious hip-hop and stuff. So that's how it came out at the time.
And also, as well, after Movement X, you actually released several singles with Los Angeles-based indie label Boogie Records. I was wondering, how did that record deal actually come to be for you? And of course, what was it like just working at that particular hip-hop label during those times?
Oh, it was actually like the person who put me onto Ill Boogie Records was Michael Myers. He was a good friend of mine. We had known each other from our times at the Wake Up Show. And he was the one who initially had the deal over there, and he brought me over there. And Matt, who was the owner of the label at the time, was just super impressed by me and wanted to put something out. We never, but like you said, I did do a lot of singles and material over there and stuff. But that's who brought me over there, Michael Myers, man. Through my ups and downs through my career, Michael Myers has always kept me, in the loop as far as hip hop, because he was like the hardest working dude that I associated with, you know what I'm saying? So he always kept me in the loop. Big up Michael Myers, who's still doing his thing, putting out dope projects. Like I'm on Michael Myers' first, I don't know how many albums he got, but I know I'm up to at least 5 or 6 of them. We even put out something just recently. We got a song on his last project, man. So Michael Myers is the one that brought me up over there, man. And then from messing with Ill Boogie, I became associated with a crew called Lifelong Entertainment. So a lot of my unreleased materials that was going on just prior to the internet booming and everybody going independently, a lot of my music I did was with a band for my relationship with Ill Boogie. But Michael Myers, man, was the one who brought me over there.
And also as well, you also went on to actually form another hip-hop group by the name of Tabernacle MCs. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this group, and of course, what actually made you 3 individuals come together and form Tabernacle?
Wow, so Tabernacle was me really tapping into something conceptually that I wanted to do, probably because I came up with the concept of the Church of Hip-Hop and Financial Prosperity. So basically, it was a concept group that we actually put hip-hop in almost like a religious perspective. So we used to teach, God for so loved hip-hop, he gave us his only begotten son, and that was the B-boy. And the B-boy is the one that came to us with the 4 miracles, which are the 4 elements of hip-hop: graffiti, breakdancing, DJing, and MCing. But the B-boy was crucified by whack rappers and industry bloodsuckers. And the concept of Tabernacle MCs was to resurrect the B-boy, which was basically trying to resurrect my era of hip-hop, and brought me, would always motivate me to do hip-hop. I was trying to recreate that energy, so that's what the concept of Tabernacle MCs was about. And it was a dope run, man. We put out a lot of material, man. Initially, it started off with 3 of us. It was me, Panama Red, and Shaheed from Cypher 7. And then later on, it became just me and Panama. We released Aquarian Gospel and B-Boy Prophecy, the Book of Hymnody, and we also had 2 mixtapes, which was Moses and Aaron, as well as Tabernacle MCs present the Get That Money Boys Choir. So it was just a dope run, man, but it was just something conceptually that we wanted to do, man, that I thought was, super dope, man, and we had a lot of fun with it, man. That music, I think that was, some of the hardest work ethic I had at the time, man, because we used to record. We did so much music in a short period of time, man. It was like a job. Like, we had a standing studio session for like 2 years on every Friday and Saturday that we did, and we just accumulated all this music in a short period of time. So it was super, super fun to do, man. I mean, when I look back at that stuff, man, I'm super proud of that work, man. It was so funny. I just was watching West video that we had put out during that time, and the song with Tabernacle and AC Alone that I'm super fond of, because it was just so creative and stuff. And Tabernacle MCs was just a super ultra creative thing, man, that we did, man, that I had a lot of fun doing. But I can't front, man, more than you definitely did your homework, man. All the elements and shit, at least in my career, man. I'm super impressed with you.
Hey man, I gotta say, that's definitely what I love to do, man. Even if I'm a fan of an artist, I always like still digging and doing my research because it's always good to at least double check, make sure you know what you're talking about.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And the one thing I actually have to bring up, because I do know you mentioned that you work with Tash from the Alcoholics earlier on in the interview, but the one song that I remember that Tabernacle MCs actually did was actually Blood, Sweat, and Beers, where you guys was also known as the X. I was wondering, man, what was it like actually reconnecting with Tash and just doing that particular project? Because I got to say, you guys had such phenomenal chemistry on that particular project.
Oh yeah, man. It was actually Black Silver actually came to me about us doing that and stuff, man. So that was kind of like him spearheading because I know at the time he was navigating a lot of the alcoholic stuff, especially with Tash and stuff, man. So that was just a fun thing that we did, man. Like shit, I had actually forgot all about that goddamn song. Like I said, I'm super impressed with you and stuff, man. But yeah, that was just, oh man, that was just us in the middle of just rocking and rolling. Man, we was doing so many features and stuff like that. And I told you, me and Tash go back so goddamn far, man. Like I know him, shit, since 87. I've known Tash, so that was just an easy thing to do, So. And we just knocked it out, Shit, I'm actually getting at him lately and shit about us doing some more music. He's been hitting me up because he's been working real tough lately and shit, man. So it's just, something that just came on the radar, man. The hip-hop circle, especially in L.A., man, is really actually pretty small and shit, man. Especially when you think about how L.A. hip-hop is, because with L.A. hip-hop, you got two different branches of L.A. hip-hop. You have the gangster rap stuff that really spawned like from Dre and NWA and all that stuff, and with that spawned. And then you have the underground hip hop that spawns out of LA that really branches out via the Good Life. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Good Life and Project Blow, but the Good Life was an open mic place that used to take place in the early 90s. That spawned a lot of groups came out of there, Freestyle Fellowship, The Far Side, a Mod comes out of there, Skilo. I wish I was a little bit taller, Volume 10, Pistol Grip Pump. So a lot of relationships, a lot of LA hip-hop, especially lyrical stuff, or what they quote-unquote will call backpack rap, spawns from that. And a lot of these relationships and stuff spawned from, those open mic places like Project Blow, as well as The Good Life. And a lot of relationships come out of there.
And I do know we're jumping ahead in the timeline quite a bit, but on February 10th of 2015, you were actually featured on Mellow Man Ace's single titled Wide Awake. I do know that you guys are both out there in California, but how did yourself and Mellow Man Ace originally get connected? And of course, what was it like just working alongside a fellow West Coast legend like him?
Oh man, that was a big deal to me. And actually, our relationship spawned because Mellow Man Ace is actually a 5%er. So when he came into the knowledge of himself, he kind of seeked me out because I am one of the firstborn in Los Angeles as far as these teachings are concerned. So our relationship actually outside of music was spanned on us just going through the lessons and being 5%ers. And, when he was doing that project, he ended up hitting me up about doing it, man. But the relationship was really spanned on the knowledge of ourselves, and that's where it really sprang from. The music was really a secondary thing. I'd be honest with you, I never even knew if he actually knew my music and stuff, but he actually was familiar with it and came to me about doing it. And his son produced the Gazelle organism, actually produced the song, and we just got together and knocked it out, man. And it's one of them things that I'm super proud of, man, because like you said, he is a legend as far as West Coast hip-hop is concerned, especially what he's done for the Latino community and hip-hop. So it was dope just to be affiliated with it, and that's one of the, my favorite joints and shit. Mellow Man Ace is a hell of an artist, man. Hell of a, he just gave me an opportunity and gave me a shot, man. Shit, that's one of my highest streaming songs is with him, and I know it's because he's a platinum-selling artist, you know what I'm saying? So, but the relationship actually spanned from us just being brothers in the teaching.
And I gotta say as well, Mellow Man Ace is such a phenomenal individual. I had the opportunity as well to interview him twice, man, and honestly, such a humble individual.
Absolutely, man. I love that brother, man. He's good people, man. Very, very solid dude, honorable, man. And I'm super proud of him and shit, man. And he stays in the mix, man. And I appreciate the opportunity he gave me because they ain't have to, man. And his music is, speaks for itself, man. It stands the test of time and stuff. So it's dope, man, to have these affiliations and stuff like that. But his actually came uniquely outside of music. It was like some real brotherhood and just, trying to be conscious men that spawned that relationship, which actually ended up spawning a dope-ass song.
And also as well, man, December 1st of 2021, you actually released a deluxe maxi single titled Son of Man featuring Planet Asia and E-Rule. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about one of these most recent release projects, and of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of it today?
Oh, man, you can go find me on all of the DSPs, man. Spotify, Tidal, you should be able to find that all over the place. And Behold the Son of Man is actually a single that's coming from a new project I got coming out called Six. That's going to be produced by Jism High Definition. So I'm actually going to be looking to release it probably in the next month or so. So I released Behold the Son of Man as well as King's Theme, which was two songs that's coming off of this project. But I have a long-standing relationship with E-Rule. That's been my brother since, the 80s. Planet Asia, I've known him and have done, some music with him as well. Prior to that, the single that me and E-Rule did together, Dub for this, Planet Asia is on the B side of that, with a song as well. So I just wanted to consider that, continue that tradition, because I think me, Planet Asia, and E-Rule is a dope-ass partnership, man. So any chance I get, man, to put us three on the song, man, I'm going to take it, shit. So Behold the Son of Man is the joint that we put out just recently and stuff. And like I said, it comes from a project called Six, EP that I plan on putting out. The last few years, I've just been putting out EPs. This one is called Six. I released another EP the year before last called Analog Baby with a producer in Europe, in Germany, and his name is Soup-Zilla. And I put out a joint where I actually did a song with Rock Cyrus called Jabril. I've been just trying to stay consistent and stay working and stuff, man. But that song, Behold the Son of Man, that we recently have put out, was, like I said, it was just us trying to continue the trend of the songs that we got, because the other song that we put out and did a video too, with us three together, which was Classic, and, was one of my more popular songs with us three together. So Behold the Son of Man is just continuing that tradition of that partnership.
And I gotta say as well, I actually have that song actually lined up, and I'm gonna be playing it right here on the Canadian FM dial immediately after this broadcast. So if the listeners haven't already heard this song, they're going to right after we sign off.
Right, okay, dope and shit, man. So, like I said, you did your homework, man. You know about all the stuff that then came out and everything, man. So, but I love Planet Asia, man. I just love his work ethic, man. Like the amount of music that he puts out and stuff like that, you just gotta respect that, man. He stayed working, you know what I'm saying? So I love associating with him and getting with him when I can. He's a hell of a motivation and stuff for me as well as E-Rule.
And I have to ask, because I do know you mentioned a few moments ago that you do have an album coming out that you're working on, but other than that, is there anything we happen to miss during tonight's broadcast? Anything else you do still want to talk about, touch on, or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the Canadian FM dial this evening.
Oh, well, man, y'all could always get at me, man. Check out my catalog. Only thing we didn't mention about me in detail, which was my project, my EP that I put out year before last, which was Analog Baby, we did a couple of videos for, that I did with Soup-Zilla out of Germany. I had that project, and then, that a real popular song, like I said, with Jabril with Rocker Irish Science and shit from Dilated Peoples. Coming up now also, besides the new project I have coming up with Jism High Definition, which is called Six, I'm also in a group with Shafiq Hussein called AOD, Angles on Dope, man, that features me, Mark Live from Raw Breed, as well as, TR Love from Ultramagnetic, my man Speed, Don Salam. Like, this is a real conglomerate, man, that we're putting together, man. We're going to be releasing a single probably this summer called We Are Not the Same, man. So keep an eye out on that, man. This new group that I got coming with Shafiq Hussein, AOD, I think is going to be going to hit pretty hard, man. So keep an eye out on it. And since you are so well versed in all things Born Law, man, I will
definitely appreciate that, man. I'm definitely not gonna say no about that, man. So if you send it, man, I'm definitely gonna sit here and listen to it and enjoy it.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity here to tell my story, man, and I appreciate your research and just, knowing what I do, man. You went all the way back from Movement X all the way and came all the way up, man. So I'm super impressed with that, man. Most people will usually start from my, my good life days and move up, man. So you kind of had a bit of a head start than most people that I do interviews with.
Hey, I gotta say, I definitely appreciate the love, man. Me personally, I want my interviews. I hope for them to be heard in like 50 to 60 years from now, man. It's to kind of that way individuals can go back into old school hip hop and actually listen to the stories. Because a lot of people they do documentaries and talk about the artists, but I'd much rather the individuals hear it from the man himself in years to come.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, this is definitely fun, man. You made me jog my memory about a few things, man. You had name and dates, my dude. You made me feel like I was just being almost low-key interrogated and shit.
Hey, well, at least it was a positive interrogation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. You was bringing up stuff like shit I forgot about. I was like, word, like, okay, let me find out, my dude. But yeah, I appreciate this, my guy. I can tell that you're a historian, and I hate calling people fans, you know what I'm saying, but I can tell that you genuinely have a good love for the music, man, and that's deeply appreciated.
But also, before we actually part ways, man, because I always like giving individuals the opportunity just to drop their social media handles, man. That way, if listeners are just discovering your music or listening to the radio station and might not know you have socials, that way they can actually follow you all across the board.
Absolutely, man. If you guys want to get at me, if you guys want Instagram, it's at Daddy Grace, and that's DADDYGRACE. On Twitter, you can catch me at LA Born a Law. I got a band page on Facebook as well, so it's Facebook /Born a Law as Daddy Grace. You can find me on there. Snapchat, you can hit me at Daddy Grace 91. I'm in the mix, my guy. You can find me, man. Get at me.
And I got to say, first and foremost, Born, thank you so much, man, for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM airways, man. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege, man. And hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon. But for now, definitely enjoy your weekend and, of course, enjoy that California sunshine and palm trees.
Absolutely, my guy. I'm going to go ahead and light up my joint again, man, so I ain't coughing all in your ear and stuff. And we're going to go ahead and call it a day, man. But I appreciate you, man. I'm going, like you said, I'm going to soak up some of the sun. I'm going to get out here in traffic. I'm going to send you some new music sooner than later, man, so keep a lookout on it, man. And I appreciate you having me out there, man. Salute.
Hey, man, you're most certainly welcome, Born. Have yourself a wonderful night, man. Thank you so much again.
You too, my guys. Salute.